Green flag, green flag. Mm.
And obviously, being a hugely wide circuit with plenty of space to make manoeuvres, but just because of how equal these cars are, really the only opportunities you have is when the toe gives you that advantage. And actually, just as a quick one as well, we thought we had lost Joe Newman. Yes, we definitely have. He is now coming up as out on the race. So, yeah, sadly lost Joe Newman from race 1, but hopefully he'll be back for race 2. And that is the way of the world. Sometimes it is a new,
Yeah,
thing about sim racing, but you don't tend to face mechanical problems like you do in real life racing. So that swings and roundabouts. It's all
that
kind
is
of
true.
all over the place.
Yeah, and I will apologize. We have apparently not really had you know any uh voice apparently. So I've been in fixing sound. So hopefully you guys should be able to hear us now. So welcome,
Yeah.
welcome.
Do let us know in the chat.
Yeah. See, that's the thing, and well, we do what we do. We try. We have had quite an exciting race. Nathan here in P6, one of the new guys. I love that livery, to be honest. I really dig that. That looks amazing. But he's fighting his way back up after we saw him having a little bit of incident on lap 1 where he spun out in the S's. Had actually that was actually Kieran who had contact with and went off. We have lost Joe, unfortunately. That is something that do tend to happen as we have a battle, a great battle for P1 and P2, which is our championship rivals. It is Jamie and Gregor McDonald here, P1, P2. And what we have been talking about around this track is just, if you lose that toe, you just lose so much time. It's unbelievable.
So yeah, look at the gap now between Nuttall and Sam Congreve. I say 12 seconds at this point, and that is just, as I said earlier on, is McDonald and Nuttall being able to use the toe to their advantage and just keep going and going. And to be fair, Congreve on his own doing a fantastic job. Super clean racing going on. And to be fair, that's quite a nice Red Bull livery as well.
It is.
I mean,
But
it's,
but look at
black
his
and
lap
red, always a
time. He
good
has
mix.
had a horrendous last lap. With a 2:11 as well. So there's something going on there as well. It might be losing concentration a little bit if you're out there on your own. Oh, that's quite a big log up there. Not really the cleanest here. Ooh, as we have a
5th place going on.
Nathan just got past Andreas and has now cleaned the yellow train. Or actually 2 of the 3 in the yellow train. The next one he will be coming up to is Evan here, which is both yellow and green, but I digress.
As he looking at Nathan Scott's fastest lap, so that's a 2:07.495. And what was that in comparison? Oh, there we go. 2:07.668 was the last lap from Imre. So it could be pretty close. It could be pretty close. So there's not much in it, and the fastest lap from kind of 1:47 of Imre is technically faster. That's obviously because that last lap from Scott with that 2:07.591 actually was an invalid lap. So his actual fast clean lap is 2:08.096. So got to be careful not to go sort of off track too many times. But it's all pretty close out there at the moment. Still, these battles sort of concertinaing in and out. Obviously, tiny cars, gigantic circuit. So it is a bit of one of these things. If every once in a while, everyone kind of spreads out and they all sort of settle into their places. The pit stops are probably going to throw all of that completely to the wind and everything will change again. But at the moment, sort of George and Jamie, our drivers in first and second place, they've sort of broken away. Actually, now with a 14.5-second gap back to third place of Sam Congreve. And then obviously we've got Evan running in fourth place at the moment. And then we've got this nice little battle we've been keeping an eye on here, which was Scott, Ansu, and McGough. So that's cars number 13, 32, and 177. And there's a nice little battle going on here. And it does appear that they are starting to close up a little bit. Oh, jumped on board with a replay here. What happens here? The Audi car again. Oh, over-rotating. Not too bad of a slide. And didn't over-thrash the tyres getting the car going again either. So hopefully that hasn't done too much tyre damage.
Oh, as we see
they
him
are
actually.
into the pits.
I think yeah, he is now changing his tires. So 2 spins might have been like, all right, get into the pits, get new tires on, stop stop crashing around. As we see Jamie getting close, I think he will go for a move here into turn 1. Or do you think he will stay behind just to try and see if we can get that slipstream going? Oh, going on to the outside. That's not where you would have overtaken. Now they're getting up to Sven Allen, who is gonna be lapped around this humongous track. It is a big track in a big part of the world in Texas. So interested to see if he's gonna be a part of this, little battle here. As Jamie actually had an off track again. These guys, there's a limit to how many off tracks you can take, but I remember one time an AOR legend I drove against Fizzy. He said, well, you have 17 X's. If you don't use them, that's just time left on the board. So and he has a point.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got a chance, you might as well make the most of it. If you have the opportunity where you can do a couple of off tracks, if it gains you that slight advantage, as long as you play the numbers right, that is the main thing. That's the way to do it. Is play your numbers. There's no point not using them if you can, but obviously you don't want to overly abuse them, and you want to leave at least 1 or 2 maybe in reserve to the very last lap, just in case you make a mistake, because that's not what you want. Oh, I think we've just seen a change of position. For 11th, I might be wrong. Or is that Jeff Hancock's? Or is he in the pit?
I think Jeff has had a little bit of a moment.
Oh yeah, rotation through turn 1. I think we also had a change between 6th and 7th.
Oh, that was that battle that we were just seeing. Andreas here going. Oh, just losing it, and Kieran gets by.
He pushing hard to catch back up with Scott, wasn't he, in car number 13?
No, yeah, Nathan Scott, yeah, and then you're just losing out to Kieran, and try to go for P5 and now back down to P7. So he will now try to see if he can get up there and get that position back. He was making an easy work out of Kieran, and Kieran has actually just been able to take that invisibility hook and just being able to put it on and try to keep up with the rest of the guys in that slipstream train that you have been talking about. And if he can keep on Nathan's pace, then he should be golden, because then I don't think Andreas will be able to catch up with him. Ooh, as Jamie has had 3 off tracks on this lap alone, and he has lost a lot of time here. Actually, the gap is up to 2 seconds. So he has had, let's just see one of these off tracks, just see what has happened. Is into the SS. Yeah, I think he's been off here. Oh yeah, hits one of the yellow curbs that you don't want to do, and just
I think he's off. I think he's our first driver to collide with those yellow curbs and still survive to tell the story, though, hasn't he? Didn't lose too much time. Say 2 seconds back from George McDonald now, but whether or not he'll be able to close up the gap, I'm not entirely sure. I would imagine he would do. Maybe it's a case that maybe McDonald could just have a slight breather and just think, right, I don't need to be absolutely on the limit for a few laps. Let's have a little breathe and maybe see what Nuttall does. Is he going to come into the pits? As say, more than half the race done now, just under 15 minutes of the race left. So this could be the change. That gap is increasing, I think, still ever so slightly between them as well.
Yeah.
Interesting quick fact about one of our races here this evening. So Billy Bob, who's running in 9th place, car number 55, just seeing that he only actually got access to this track today.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's still kind of learning the circuit. So fair play to him, running in 9th place, still basically learning the circuit. Little update on Joe Newman. He sadly had internet cut out, and so that's why he disconnected. And I'm also seeing from Steve Allen as well. His computer crashed.
Oh.
And so as he's saying, it just has not been his night this evening.
No,
so,
definitely not.
Yeah, real sad to see some of the drivers obviously, just letting us know that they've had sort of, what incidents have happened and why they're not on the grid. So 14th and 15th place. Sadly, they have dropped out. And we might actually have a 16th racer when it comes to the final round. One of the drivers not able to get to us at the beginning of this round, but possibly another driver joining for the sprint race. So that could throw a whole load of spanners in the work for George McDonald and Jamie Nuttall if suddenly there's another driver on the track that can match their pace. So let's see how it goes.
Definitely. And Kieran here, just going back to that battle, Kieran is getting closer and closer to Scott. This is maybe the closest battle at the moment on track after Jamie had a little bit of an oopser there, and Kieran is getting, I think, more and more comfortable with the car and getting closer. Ooh, as we just saw a little bit of a crash at the background. We will get back to that in a moment. I just want to see if Kieran is actually able to go for a dive here in the corner. No, I think he's maybe a bit too far behind. Yeah, he is. Let's just see what happened, because it was Andreas who had a little bit of an off. His race is just going from bad to worse. Just being on throttle and brakes at the same time, and the car just spins, and he loses, what, 2 positions? Yeah, he is now behind, behind Billy Bob, actually, as McDonald just put in the fastest lap and kind of solids that he is the man of this track. He's now extended the gap to 2.8 seconds, so that's quite a lot. But these guys still need to pit. As you can see on the timing table, we actually have quite a few cars who haven't pitted yet. And with 11 minutes left of this race, we will see the pit lane hoovering up soon. And that's a strategy that we actually haven't talked about as well. If you can sit in the slipstream and just save fuel, that is less time that you will have to stay still in the pit lane, because you need less fuel when you're pitting, and that can be quite a lot of seconds actually. We have seen sometimes up to 2 or 3 seconds lost in the pit lane just by refueling. Ooh, as Billy Bob just went a bit wide there. I think he had an off-track moment, maybe a little bit of a talk with one of the yellow curbs there.
Yeah, he went super deep into turn 2, didn't he, and lost all of his momentum. But interestingly, he's managed sort of to recompose himself and pull away from the car 32 there. Again, it's a case of, I think, smart defending. Maybe not sort of completely slamming the door on other people. Oh, here we go. A little move going on here. What happens? Oh,
overcorrecting.
Unsettled on the curbs. Yeah, unsettled. Snap oversteer. Sent in the wrong way. Rejoins and keeps going, though, running in 13th place. One of our drivers actually, so car number 89, we just saw then, of Druvis, hasn't actually completed his mandatory pit stop yet either. So
no,
these
he
two
will
drivers,
be sad about that.
Neither of they either. I mean, it might be smart, actually, of car number 177, so that's Kieran, to maybe go into the pits one lap before, get his pit stop done, maybe see what he can do. Or, I mean, again, if Scott comes into the pit, sorry, Nathan Scott, if he comes in and pits, he immediately gets rid of that advantage that McGough has. He no longer has a toe. So if he knows he can outlap him on raw pace, pitting at a different time would possibly be an advantage for him. It's so hit and miss as to whether to go into the pits or not. It's one of those things of, I think strategy is a major part of this. But I couldn't tell you at all which is the best strategy to go for
Oh
at all.
no.
I say because I say 3/4 of the race done, and still the top half of the grid haven't done a pit stop yet.
Oh yes, I had a notification. Billy Bob had a little bit of just spinning around as we've seen so many go. Oh, Andres just had to go off track to avoid him there. That was so close to be ending up in tears. Let's just have that one from Andres as well here. Just it's one of those spins where you know that it's gonna happen. And all you can do is it's just waiting until it's over, until you can go further. It just takes such a long time for the car to spin, and you just can't do anything about it. It's just the worst way of spinning that Billy Bob had there, and he just needs to stay close to Liam, to try and keep himself within the top 10.
He's around that 1 second mark behind at the moment, so maybe just outside of the toe, but a couple of decent laps should better get himself back in there again. So yeah, you see Liam just up there in front, and so Liam sort of been slightly off the pace here at COTA.
Yeah, we have also seen Liam in the battles today. You know, he has been a gladiator. He had a couple of incidents, as we actually have McDonald in pits now. But yeah, Liam have had a couple of incidents and have actually had his pit stop, where he got his front wing fixed. So I think he's just waiting for this to be over, as we do have a race later on, as Kieran is going into the pits and Scott is continuing. Interesting.
Again, it's that case of maybe Scott thinking to himself, this is his best chance to now break away. There's no advantage of the car behind being able to be towed down the road. If he can put in a couple of clean laps, or at least maybe just even one clean lap of really pushing hard and getting away, maybe that is a second or two he can get an advantage.
Yeah.
Hopefully when oh god, which car was that in the pit? That was Ansu. When he comes out the pits, is there the possibility that then he is not going to be as close and not be able to come in the tow straight away and come back at him? Say with just under 7 minutes of the race left, if you were ever going to try and do a big move for the win, now is the time to go for it. And I imagine Nutter was absolutely putting everything on the line to try and take advantage of this little bit of clean air that he's finally got. This is really the first time that Jamie's had his sort of the track to himself. The rest of the time he's been in a constant sort of locked horns with George McDonald. There has not been a moment where those two have not been squabbling. It's maybe half a lap between them at some times when there was a bit of breathing room, but apart from that, those two have really been going at it. So be interested to see if Nuttall comes in this lap. He really hasn't got long to go.
I think, yeah, he's got a box now, and we'll just have them on here. We have McDonald's pit stop time at the bottom. We have his pit lane time as well. So let's see, the gap between them was 18 seconds when he drove into the box. So this is gonna be interesting. Is Jamie gonna get out there ahead of Gregor, or is it P2 for him? That is really what we... Oh, yeah, and he's gone.
Wow, what a quick pit stop that was.
A second. And... Oh, I think he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. Oh my goodness me. And that's what I was talking about. Oh, I see he's gonna... Wow, that's close. That is close. And that was a 2-second gap before they boxed. 2 laps afterwards. And Jamie is taking the position at the front.
I mean, that was super close, wasn't it? Yeah, look at that. Just over a second gained on the pit. Well, it was just time in the pit, wasn't it? I wonder if some of that, like you said, is the amount of fuel he's running. Maybe, obviously... Well, I mean, technically, he went slightly further at the beginning. He was in the tow a lot of the first half, or basically 3/4 of the race. He was very much in the tow, losing, using a little bit less fuel, like you said. So just over a second of time in these cars is an absolute. It's years of time, absolutely massive amounts of time. Oh, Carlo 147 jumped on the replay here. This is turn 1. Oh, over rotated. Not too bad though. It was quickly saved, and luckily low speeds, not too much of a slide. But here we go, a move at the end of the back straight. No, George. Oh, lock up there from Nuttall. Gotta be careful. He's on fresh tyres. He does not want to wreck them. He's only got 4.5 minutes to go, but he does not want to do damage to them immediately. And there we go. George now looking to the inside, switches over to the outside. Going to go for a bit of a switchback.
Whoa!
So close.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it was only these two that could have got through that cleanly. I think anyone else, any other drivers, and that might have been a slight collision. But yeah, somehow George managed to get the car stopped before he came into the back of Nuttall there.
I think we've
very much like
had an incident just before this. Let's say Billy Bob. Oh, that's a hit. That's a hit of one of the curbs, and I think he didn't survive that. Andreas have had a torrid time, and went off. Wow.
Ooh, that's a bad place to be stopped, isn't it? Just over that blind crest. That is not where you want to be.
But let's go.
3.5 minutes left.
Back to the battle for the lead. These guys have just been, negative all the way through. We just had a little bit of a moment, a couple of laps where Jamie was quite far back, and he will be gutted right now. That mistake, without that mistake, he would have had a gap of, maybe 1.5, 2 seconds now. But McDonald right on the tail end of his car and has the ability to get back at him. He now actually needs to be smart about his battle move, because when is he gonna go for that move? Because if he can stay here one more lap, then he will take Jamie's opportunity away for him to actually get back at him. So that could be a strategy as well. Or do you think he will just go for the move if he can?
I think obviously if an opportunity opens up, he'll definitely go for it. But again, we've seen it a lot this season. Actually, George is our only racer, I think, that has started and finished every single race. Everyone else has had either they could not start, or they've had some sort of incident mid-race where it means they've had to drop out. So although it's nice to have that, that nice gold trophy, points win prizes, and George really has shown himself to be a bit of an expert at winning points this season. What they call a nice pointsy race meeting, as Tom Ingram of British Touring Cars would call it, pointsy racing. You just want to get the points. It doesn't matter whether you're coming in sort of first, second, or third, as long as you're outscoring or similarly scoring your main rivals. That is the thing. And there's not, with the 40 points lead, he can afford to lose 1 or 2 points to Jamie Nuttall. It's not going to be the end of his championship.
Oh, has he gone for the inside?
Massive dive up the inside on the brakes. Can he get it done? He's going to be outside for turn 2. Gives lets Nuttall come on back onto the racing line. There was no point going side by side. It was only going to be a risk. But good move into turn 1 there. I really thought he was going to be able to do it, and actually gaining on Nuttall, I would say, here through the S's.
Oh, and this is the thing, these cars can be so close. These drivers can be so close, because we have downforce, but we have clean downforce in these cars. It's not overly complicated wings. And this just gives good racing. Fix it up. These guys, not a lot between them. Oh, he's going for the inside onto the straight. Oh, can they get away with it without hitting? They can, and now it's a drag race all the way down the main straight, or the back straight here, which is quite a long. I think it's over 1 kilometer long. It's humongous, and in these small cars, it looks weird around here. I have to say, and he's still.
They almost get lost, don't they?
Yeah.
The tarmac. You're almost thinking to themselves, "Have they gone off?"
Yeah.
George finally gets it done and closes the door off. Although Nuttall now to the outside, can he do it? No, he can't. He's stuck behind. Are we going to see a move into the final turn? I think that's the only real opportunity where Nuttall could maybe make
Oh!
a move. And I think a bit of a rotation there from McDonald.
And this is the final lap as well. This is the final lap. This is the two guys battling for the lead on the final lap. There's only maybe one or two, maybe one place that he can go for it. Gregor's still in the front. Jamie go all the way off track. That was those axes that we were talking about. Going defensive into the last corner. Getting there, and he will take that position. Gregor will win this race ahead of Jamie. Wow. What a...
You can see Jamie slowed down loads across the line. I sort of think there was almost that case of pure disappointment. It was such a close battle between them. I think he was pretty disappointed about that. Although Scott pretty close up behind McGough. Can he do anything? I'm probably a bit too far away to try and make a move here. But he's only got he's pretty much got... Is this the final corner? Yeah, there we go.
Getting across the finish line there.
So now, with those results, George McDonald does extend his championship lead by another 4 points. It's not a massive amount of points, but you've got to keep adding them. You've got to keep adding them on. So he gains another 4 points over Jamie Nuttall, and yeah, Nuttall will be disappointed after a brilliant race. To be fair, the two of them gave us absolutely fantastic action pretty much the whole way through. We had great battles as well, sort of further down the grid. But yeah, it's got to be said that those two are becoming what's the best way to do it? Very much championship rivals.
Yeah,
you know, harkens back to sort of older racing, sort of previous seasons of F1 between Max and Lewis. It sort of feels a little bit like that. Maybe not so much this season. From what I've seen, it doesn't seem like there's much rivalry going on at the very top.
No, it's kind of Max against everybody else. But that's a different conversation for a different time. As we just need Davies to get across the line. Credit for still being in the race. He has not had the best of times around here. We have seen him have a couple of spins out there, but fair play, getting across the finish line in P13. He finished the race. We, more than we could say about a couple, how many did you say was on the championship standings? 24 guys, something like that? So,
yeah, I think a lot of that has been people that originally signed up and then just haven't been able to make it for whatever reason. It does happen, obviously. It's not the same as real life racing where you've paid thousands and thousands to be there, and you've got entire teams. Usually it is a case of it is one person at home in front of their computer, or their rig of sorts.
Yeah,
but I mean, a bit of a roundup for race one. I mean, absolutely fantastic. There was definitely a lot more action than we were sort of half expecting to see, to be brutally honest. Big circuit, very small cars, and a reasonably thin grid. There was the risk of there being no action, but I would like to hope that everyone at home has been very much entertained by what's gone on. Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic racing from everyone out there.
It definitely have, and here we see the final result with all the guys who completed the race, with McDonald winning there at the end. Against Jamie, I think Jamie maybe thought he had another lap there. Sam, a great way to be introduced into the championship. Evan, a beautiful crawling his back up through the grid. He was starting in P14. Kieran had some great racing, smart racing out there. Nathan lost that position to him at the end. That was close racing. Liam, not the best of races. He will want to return and get a better race out of that. Hojak, and then we have Andreas, and then Billy Bob completed his first race in P10th, and then we have Hojak. I think so. Then we have Hanscock, Dravis, and then we had Sven Allen and Joe Newman, who unfortunately, due to technical difficulties, went out of the race. And yeah, we are now closing up here and getting on to the next the next server, because we have another race after
Yeah, a
this.
little sprint race.
We have a
Should
sprint.
be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be amazing. So what we will do is just go on to the other server, just setting everything up, and we will be back in just a minute. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we can get anything on the visuals here. Yeah, there it is. There it is. I am Nick Domino. Welcome back to the sprint race. And together with me in the box, I have Tim.
Good evening. Good evening indeed.
Good evening.
Yeah, very glad to be here again. I'm just about to start the sprint race. Well, it's the qualifying for the sprint race, isn't it? So a quick dive round. Oh no, it's qualifying for the sprint race, I believe, isn't there? Or am I losing my mind completely on that one?
No, there's a qualifying as we just I need to get this to work. Yeah, there we go. As we are right now on board with McDonald, who's had a helmet change while we were off the air. He's driving with a Niki Lauda tribute helmet in one of the tribute Formula One liveries, the Honda guys, and he's now just warming up the tires. As you guys will, if you know, if you don't know, I will explain it to you. This is qualifying that we set the grid. Qualifying around here will be 1 lap. This is a 1 lap wonder. If you fuck it up, you don't get a qualifying lap. You don't get a second chance. And if you go off track, they will cut it. And this is not like in Formula 1 where they will have to look at it and it's a maybe. If you go off track, it will say off track. And there's no discussing it. There's no talking about it. It's hard off track. So this is gonna be interesting because what we have seen in the past is some of the guys at the front who have had that fuck up and have been off track. And let's see if McDonald will be able to actually get his pole position here for this particular race, and we will go on board with him for his lap.
It is lovely to be able to jump onto this sort of just above that sort of defensive halo shot. It's really nice to see. So it comes into turn 1 all the way across the apex. Does miss it ever so slightly, but seems to maintain a good amount of speed. Little bit of an oversteer on the exit, but holds it all together. He's running the inside curves as he comes into the S's. Just avoiding those great big yellow curves. Oh, a little bit of steering correction there. Maybe not quite as smooth as he would have liked. Fast is smooth, smooth is fast, as they like to say. But if it's anything like it was in race 1, George and Jamie Nuttall are going to be putting in very, very fast and very similar lap times. As you said, though, they only get 1 opportunity to put a lap in. Any mistakes, and that's it. So maybe sometimes it's a little bit of a case of don't go, the full, sort of 10 tenths. Maybe just drop it back a little bit. Just go for like 9 tenths of your capabilities, just so you don't cause an incident. We don't want to start all the way from the back and have to battle your way through. I mean, we did see it last time round. Car number 13 did a really great job of recovering all the way up into the top 5 again after an incident in the race and having to make his way through the pack. But it's still not what you want, and especially in a sprint race, you do not have as much time. God, that was super brave there, using all of that curb on the outside edge, even when he was on the brakes. So obviously fairly confident the car's stable enough out there on the paint. Slightly unsettled there, though, as he bumps over the yellow curbs. Again, throwing it in. Massive chunk of inside. Little slight steering correction, but keeps it absolutely planted now. Really close to the end of the lap. Just a few corners left to go. It's a circuit I wish I could race better, because it does look absolutely fantastic when it is done right. When it's done badly, it's awful. But when it's done right, this circuit really is quite a nice circuit to look at. So 1 corner left to go. We saw loads of people make mistakes here in the race, so hopefully can hold it together. And McGough putting in the fastest lap at the moment. But what have we got here from George? It was a 2:08.226. So at the moment, running on pole position, but not as much of a dominant lap as we saw in the open qualifying that we saw for race 1.
And Jamie's in the pits. Jamie's in the pits. He will not put in a lap time. We actually don't have that many drivers out there. Evan will... Oh, he just put in a lap time. Oh, I know what has happened here. I see what has happened here. the guys needed to put in a lap time before the timer went out, and I think Evan has forgotten to increase it. So that is what we have at the moment. Let's see if we can get the grid up here just to show you. So McDonald posted a lap time, Kieran P2, then we have Evan P3, and Hoisak P4. Then we have Joe Newman P5, Sam P6, Jamie P8, Scott P8, sorry, Jamie Nuttall P7, then we have Liam P9, then we have Dennis, who wasn't here in race 1, in P10, then we have Billy Bob P11, then we have Andreas P12, Majak P3, Jeff in P14, Devius in P15, and Sven Allen in P19. Oh, and I think they are reading up here. Let's see if we can get everything on show. Oh, let's see.
So one more driver this time round. Obviously a very odd qualifying. I think we should go green in just a moment.
Green flag.
And let's go green. Great start again by George McDonald. Although I think actually McGough had a better start. Looks like he's going to try and go around the outside. Nuttall already on the offensive and trying to go through. Looks like everyone made it through turn 1 reasonably cleanly. No massive changes to the grid ordering. Although, yeah, there we go. Move up the inside there. Huzak goes through for 3rd place. And continues to push forward. I say we are going to possibly see some heroic drives up through the grid. Oh, and there we go. After making that position gained, although somehow retains that position, but looks to be becoming a bit of a cork in the bottle for everyone behind.
Oh, this is gonna be fantastic. Oh, is Jamie's gonna try to go onto the inside here? That's not a place where you can overtake, my friend. As Liam is getting back up there, and hopefully we can get Liam up there. You know, he had that's a dive and a half, and he's going off on the inside. That's a horrendous dive that he's getting off there. Wow, not even trying to brake, and he just completely went into to Joe. Wow, Liam, that was quite an outbreak.
I think maybe being caught up in traffic, maybe just didn't spot his braking marker quite the same as he normally would. Oh, goes super deep again, just pushing too hard. I mean, it is the sprint race. You do feel the overwhelming urge to push harder than you normally would, but again, you can only go so fast. If normally you're putting in a sort of a 208 lap, you aren't going to suddenly be able to do 206. It's just out the blue, especially with traffic around you, and now the teammates hindering each other.
This has been a scruffy lap for those two, and as we can just see a little bit of damage on Joe's car here. He has been in the wars, but he was the guy who got absolutely rammed on the inside into that corner, and you know, after something like that, you really need to be careful because you can get so mad. And when you get that mad, you will lose focus, and you can make some, just stupid decisions. But, as he's gonna dive on the inside of Jamie Nuttall, and Jamie is just, as we saw last time, if you don't get that qualifying lap in, you are at the risk of being in these kind of battles down here where you just, everything can happen, and you don't want to be here because people can crashes can happen, something that is not your
Joe
fault.
Newman's just tumbled down the order. Not sure what happened there. Still continuing to tumble. He's into the pits. We did see him with front end damage, didn't we, after that incident?
Yeah, let's just see what happens here. I think he might be a victim of the yellow cups. Yep, yellow cups.
There it was.
And I think he has then decided to say, well, that is it. Yeah, that is what has happened. So he has decided not to be there, as we have a battle for P3. This is yours, and it is Evan, who is the battling up there. And these guys are higher up than they were before, as we just see Evan trying to go into the outside, and he has lost a position, and that's the podium place, and he will go for the inside again. Oh, that's so close to contact there, guys. Wow. We can see that these drivers, they definitely know that this is a sprint race, and everything, you know, the gloves have come off, and they're just gonna go for every single move they can.
I think also some of these drivers sort of aren't necessarily going for outright championship points. They're not overly worried about where they're sitting in the championship. They're just looking for nice, close, tight sort of and competitive battles. That can be the hardest thing with sim racing, is being placed with similar speed cars. And up the inside again. How they left enough room for each other, then I have absolutely no idea. I honestly thought that was going to be a 2-into-1 doesn't go, but somehow it did just about work. Our fastest lap of the race has now been set by George McDonald with a 2:08.320. Super defensive line there, and way too deep, and actually loses a position, gets an off track as well.
Sam is just trying to see if he can get his nose in there. No, he's decided to stay behind into the S's. That is a smart move, Sam. Can they all survive the yellow curbs from hell? They can. And just, this is it. What a shot right there. And we have Dennis. He's right up there. He's ready to battle. Great to see. And then we have Nathan Scott as well coming up here. But Sam, he's going for the inside here. He's gonna go and overtake Evan. So Evan has lost 2 positions in 2 laps. And will it be 3? Dennis trying to go for the inside as well. Oh my god, Evan is just tumbling down the order at the moment. Everybody's just going for a move. But will he be able to get the slipstream going here? Oh, they're moving on the straights. That's never a good thing. It can only end in tears. Evan going for defensive and offensive move at the same time. Going on to the inside here. He's gonna get that move done. Getting back at Sam. But Sam is having the inside line right here. And that is, well, I should say the end of it. But it is definitely not. And behind them, oh, Scott is up there again. And Scott is looking. He's almost had contact there, but Evan has lost the position to Dennis as well. Wow. From battling for P3 and down to P6 now in just 2 laps.
I mean, there is the opportunity to get it back. He's now got more cars in front to sort of take advantage of the slipstream, but he has got car number 13 of Nathan Scott behind him. We saw that in race 1. Nathan Scott really did a great recovery drive and looking to do the same again. He's got Liam Giles behind him, so it could very easily be done. Those two could push forward. Just a quick one saying about that car number 39. I don't know why, but it weirdly reminds me of the colours that you'd see on an ice lolly. I weirdly want to lick that car. That looks like that to me is a delicious livery. It's very simple, but I like the clean lines. It looks like it would taste nice. Doesn't look like a race car in my mind. It looks like maybe some sort of nice
ice cream,
a cool dessert. Yeah, an ice cream of some kind. You know. But you know, there we go. I'm sat in a very hot room. I'm probably just dreaming of ice cream. It's not air conditioned.
No, I think it maybe is supposed to be a little bit of a tribute to the Alpine livery.
Yeah.
I think we are maybe looking there as Sam is trying to go in the inside of Husjak, and that's the thing we have had with this. Guys not being able to qualify, and what we sometimes tend to see in the sprint race, people being out of position, and then we get these battles. As you know, one of the championship contender, Liam, is all down into P9, not really being able here. Sam is going for the that's a little bit of contact. He went to the outside there, as Dennis is saying, yes, thank you, I will take that position. Try to go onto the outside. He has to make it done. Will it be 2 for 1? No, it won't be. Oh, that's close. Yeah, he will get it right here. Go to the inside. Oh yes, we have incident. It didn't go.
Liam innocent party in that one. He gets caught up in it, and it's still going on.
Wow.
That was messy at best. We usually expect more on car number 13 now with absolutely 0 rear downforce.
Oh
11
my
minutes left of the race. There's
goodness.
no way that car can make it to the finish. Is there any way we can go back to a replay on that?
Yeah,
Oh, there we
I
go. No, 13
am
pulls off the
gonna
racing line.
look at it here.
It looked to me like Liam just got caught by one of the cars trying to rejoin.
Oh,
Yeah, he tries to go round and just can't, and then gets caught. So, be interested to see how much damage Liam's car did take then.
I am trying to just see if I can get this one looked at once again, but oh, 2 seconds. Yeah, let's see right here.
So what happens to that rear wing of car number 13? I mean, obviously,
Oh,
does collect that car there, and then...
Oh, it's Billy Bob, I think, who is gonna hit him right. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Super choppy out there.
Wow. So if we just go in here and let's try and have that. That was a big off. So this is from the onboard of Billy Bob at the moment, and he's unfortunately out of this race. So he's just being unsighted right there and going to the inside. Oh, and there's just nowhere for him to be at all. Wow, that was a clumsy one, and definitely something where the stewards will need to have a look at what happened there. Oh, as Sam is trying to go on the inside here with Dennis, as these two guys were, well, they were kind of setting it all off, but you know, being out there in front, they had no part in it at all. But there were so many cars in that battle, and they were just battling close as this battle is going from inside to outside, and this is great battling here. And clean. Ooh, Sam is trying to cut it off. Then he's going for the inside into this carousel, and you will not. This is not a place to overtake. But Sam will have the inside line here, and we just have Evan Imre lurking in the background, being ready to punch if these two guys get it wrong. And we have just seen on replay that you can so easily get it wrong.
Yeah, and the slightest bit of damage here is going to cause major issues. Actually, now have 4 cars out at the moment. It was Nuttall earlier on, then Nathan Scott, Billy Bob Ray, and Joe Newman all have retired from the race at the moment. Oh, and actually, there we go. Car number 17 has come into the pits, so we knew they were going to probably see someone coming into the pits at some point. Just past the midway point in the race, no one else has bothered to come in yet.
Oh, that's a contact! This is going all wrong. He's on top of the other car, and that's off. Oh, Sam rearwards into. Wow!
That was a case of, I think it was yellow curb strike, unsettled car number 9. Or was it? Oh no, it was unsettled car number 39.
Yeah.
Bumped across. Is there any way we can get an onboard cam for car number 39 or 9?
Let's just have it here.
Car 39. Be interested to see from onboard there what happens. Oh yeah, just up and over, and you just just on for a ride. Nothing there that could be done. It was just a case of simply hold on and hope for the best.
Oh yeah, he hit that yellow curb.
This was for him.
Oh
yeah, look, just immediately gets mounted. Nothing they could do. Amazingly managed to keep the car going, but I can't even imagine how much damage. There you can actually see wiggling the steering. Seeing
I think
what
he's
the car
okay.
felt like.
I think he's all right. I think it was mainly wheel-to-wheel damage. Oh, his front end has taken a little bit of damage, but yes, we said, Evan just waited to pounce, and he has done that. As we have Andreas here, hitting the yellow curbs again, the yellow curbs of death, and he saves it. There's so much runoff area here, so. You know, it is impressive that we have actually seen cars in the wall, but that's just down to the nature of the huge incidents that we have had here in this race. And I think now there's a little bit of gap between the guys with 7 minutes left. And McDonald here in the lead, a dominant lead. He's now 6 seconds ahead of Kieran, and Kieran will be. You will be happy with. He will not be knowing what has happened behind him, but he will be happy with this result. He started P2 and it's up there. You know, everybody else who had the ability to maybe drive from him have either crashed or been in incidents or being in battles, and he just needs these 6 minutes to go away, so then he will have a great result for him. And I don't think he would have imagined going away from here with a P2. But then, Jamie Nuttall, can we just have a talk about that? Jamie Nuttall out of this race. And I think Sam as well. I think that's over for Sam as well. No rear wing. I think he's out of here as well.
Yeah, I imagine he's probably going to sit there to the end. That's not great. So yeah, George McDonald obviously outscoring his main championship rival. You were just saying a moment, weren't you, about who was that? That was it McKenna running in? Oh no, it wasn't McKenna. Oh, there's that incident again. Huge incident. Oh no, it was McGough, wasn't it? So McGough is where in the championship is McGough? He's in there somewhere. I'm sure he's raced with us before. Has McGough raced with us before? Is this his first?
I think this is his first.
I felt like I knew the name, but possibly not. Maybe I know it from somewhere else. I mean, he is part of the Apex Online Racing community, and so we both do different work, sort of in different places in the community. You are the main man when it comes to liveries, so hence your harsh judgments when it comes to it. And I normally just hide in the booth on Monday and Tuesday nights for GT3 racing. So we've come together for a bit of a change. Bit of a change from the pace. Oh, huge over rotation there from car number 184.
Wow,
that could have been a risky rejoin there almost.
I think could have.
Half a second closer, and that would have been a bit closer. Oh, and round goes the Audi. I say Audi. It's Audi liveried car.
It is an Audi liveried car,
but it's so hard when you see the badge on a car. It's so hard to not just go. It's an Audi.
Do you think I'm harsh with my comments about liveries?
No, not harsh, I would say, but you have seen more liveries than most people have probably had hot dinners in their life. So it is a case of you look at them in a different eye. You're not just a commentator in the booth that's going, "Ooh, shiny," like I normally do. Or it's anything that's got some sort of anime livery. I love an anime livery. The riskier the better, I think. I do find them absolutely hilarious. There's been some cracking ones in the GT3 leagues over time. Obviously, a lot more bodywork to paint on those cars. Yeah. And some of them are fantastic. Some of them are just downright bonkers. We've had SpongeBob SquarePants and Patrick-related cars, all sorts of different things, and then some actually proper serious liveries as well.
Yeah. But some of the guys can do some amazing things, and some of the liveries are just absolutely horrendous. But sometimes, if they're made correctly, they can be fun and memorable. I remember we had GTE cars, which will be, that's a when you have set up a GT3 to perfection, then it almost drives as a GTE car without any setup. But GTE cars, which is the fastest GT cars that we have had here, And on iRacing, we had a league, and I remember just one of the guys, he needed to have, he had a grin on his car, so a mouth. And the commentator at the time, the legend himself, King Kodiak, he had to look at that grin every time on the broadcast. And it became a meme, a joke, insider joke. So for I think 5 or 6 seasons in a row on different cars, he had that grin on the car because of King's weird obsession with it.
To be fair, it is always great to see. I've just seen a little bit in the chat. Actually, it was Dominic Joy, one of our actual racers that hasn't made it this evening. I think for personal reasons. That personal reason being he didn't want to spend his money on Circuit of the Americas, as I know that gentleman, and he is not a big fan of this track. But letting us know that car number 177 of Keurig McGough, that is Kiki Mack, who is a name well known across Apex Online Racing. So yeah, that's Kiki. So he is currently running in 14th in the championship. Couple of DNFs, couple of could not starts. So yeah, great amount of points, and he will be rocketing his way up through the championship, I imagine. 131 points at the moment. Quite a few drivers in front of him with similar amounts of points aren't scoring anything this evening. So I imagine Kiki's going to see himself gain a couple of places in the championship with this race. Fantastic effort.
Definitely. And again, right now what we also see, just to get, we are down to the last minute. We are soon on to the last lap. But he's sponsoring one of these legendary old Formula 1 liveries. This is the Jordan. The Honda Jordans. And with the McDonald's as well, with the BAR Honda. With the when Tobacco sponsorships were okay, apparently.
Yeah, so I think we spoke about it last time round as well, wasn't it? It's sort of really when the cars were covered in sort of these either, well, you think even back to things like the Martini liveries that you'd see in WRC and on the Porsches and things like that. They were fantastic liveries, and it is a shame that you don't see them. But obviously, it's all to do with sort of you can't advertise smoking and alcoholic drinks to sort of to children, and obviously you're going to get children watching the sport, and obviously you've got to get kids watching things, otherwise there'll be no you don't want a dying load of fans. That's the issue. You don't want your fan base to get thinner and thinner as the years go on. You need to get new people in. As you were saying, the liveries have definitely changed a little bit in modern motorsport. A lot of the time they are a lot more just not necessarily big brand names that or big flash liveries. They're a lot more minimalistic. You were saying about weight saving on the Formula One cars. There are some great liveries out there. I do find it quite funny when you see the OnlyFans cars. There's quite a few OnlyFans cars out and about where they've got massive OnlyFans written down the side of a car, and I do think that is absolutely fantastic to see. If anyone's aware of OnlyFans, obviously, a varied website. So if you are going to go there, please be careful. But it's just funny to see it in full motorsport. But occasionally you do see a few things. You still see Burger King cars and other sort of vehicles like that from time to time. I think NASCAR have got liveries perfect. Personally, I think NASCAR liveries are where it's at.
Yeah, NASCARs. Yeah. Well, I do like in when real life gets a little bit silly as well. The Mad Pandas. That's a great team name, first of all. Mad Panda Racing, We're having a mustache on the car and stuff like that. And we are just, right now, as you can hear, just killing a little bit of time, a lot of gaps between the cars. But McDonald will be getting away from Texas with maximum points. He takes P1 in the main race and P1 again in the sprint. What a haul of points. And Kieran here will take P2. What a great race for him. Big haul of points as well. Evan, quiet race. P3. He just waited. Avoided 2 huge crashes. And that gave him the last step on the podium. Dennis, welcome to AOR. Welcome to the league. And great to see you here. P4. What a way to start. Liam, P5. Liam, I don't think that P5 will stand. We saw him have an absolute humongous dive bomb at the beginning of the race. And I think that there might be a couple of harsh words to him because he decided to use Joe as a stopping point, as a wall, moving wall. And I don't think that's really where it's at, but sometimes with these brakes, low pedal brakes, you can have a little bit of an issue or mistake, and that can happen.
Yeah, I did see sort of a bit of chat from the pit lane. Jamie Nuttall actually apologising to Joe Newman, saying about sorry about what happened in the hairpin. That was not intentional. So was it Liam or was it Nuttall that actually made the mistake? Because judging by the pit lane talk, it might have actually been Nuttall that made that big unintentional dive, and he did drop out of the race super early. So was that?
He was in the huge crash that happened as well.
Yes,
with a lot of cars there. But yeah, the result for our sprint race. So McDonald, then we have Kieran, Evan, Dennis, Liam, Andreas, Jeff, Dravis, Hushak, and then Stephen Allen. P10. Good for you, mate. Great. And then the guys who didn't complete the race, we have Sam, Majak, Nathan, Liam, Billy Bob, and Joe, who didn't complete the race, unfortunately. So there we are. What a race! What a couple of races we have had here. This has been amazing. Really, really, some great racing. Unfortunately, it all went to the gutters at the end here, but yeah, that was some great on track stuff until we had those issues.
Yeah, I mean, it was a super shame about how it actually went. There's some people that might be willing to join us for a chat. Actually, yeah, we've got George McDonald, who was our pole driver for both races, who's willing to give us a chat. And hopefully we get some other post-race interviews as well. But just for now, I will drag George in if we are ready for that, Domino.
Yeah, let's do it.
Fantastic. I'll bring him in. Good evening, George. Another fantastic race meet for you here this evening. Obviously, continuing your dominance this season with 2 pole positions. And am I right in thinking you didn't have this track until the end of last week when you decided that you ought to continue the battle for your championship?
Yeah, I think you said my decision was made by last week's results, so had to pop on and make a purchase this week. But I've raced it in ACC and stuff before, so I'm not entirely it's not completely new to me.
It's good stuff to hear. I mean, obviously, championship points, you were 40 points ahead of Jamie Nuttall, your closest rival, at the beginning of this race weekend. And you've obviously pushed forward with another 2 pole positions. And Jamie actually not finishing that second lap, that second race. So a massive points haul. Going into the final round in Germany next week, pretty much sews it up for you at this point, bar any huge incidents. Are you feeling confident this is your championship now?
No, absolutely not. I think we're still only at the halfway point, aren't we? So if I've built that much of a lead so far, it can just as easily all drop away. So definitely can't let my foot off the gas until at least another 4 races.
I'll be honest, my calendar was broken and it stopped at next week. And I've just refreshed my page. And now I can see that, yes, there are many, many more weeks of racing. So apologies about that to everyone at home that suddenly thought, hang on, the championship's ending already. No, it's not. I am just a fool. Domino, you got any words for George?
Yeah, George, with this, almost Max Verstappen kind of a performance that you had here, when we see the points, how was these small cars around this humongous Texas track?
Yeah, it was. I think I said in the interview last week, I thought the cars felt like or my suspicion was they'd feel a bit small for this track, but they hooked in really nicely. I think certainly like the S's, the opening sector was pretty good, and basically sectors, I guess 1 and 3 are good. It's just that the long straight, but it provides really good opportunities for overtaking and stuff. So it's certainly race 1 was really good. I really enjoyed that. It's a shame Jamie did drop out of the second race because it was. I'm looking forward to watching the commentary back for the final lap because it was the drag race down the straight on the final lap was stressful.
It was stressful in the comp box as well. You guys, especially in race 1, that was. Wow, what a battle that you guys gave us. How did actually getting back to that? How did you lose that much time to him doing the pit stops? Because you had a 2-second gap before you guys pitted, and you came out behind him.
I think Jamie is really good at pit stops anyway. Because I think last week I thought I absolutely smashed the pit stop, and he still gained about half a second on me. And this time I think I was a bit slow coming in, and then I got a bit flustered pulling away because I've been trying to do like back to neutral and like a race start kind of conditions, and ended up letting the clutch off full throttle and stuff, and I wasn't even in gear, so had to put it in gear, and then I wasn't on the clutch, so spun the wheels up, and then just as I came out of the pits, the guy that was in P3 came past me. So it didn't hold me up a huge amount, and fair play to the guy as well. When we came down the straight, I passed him coming onto the straight, and he could have come back past me quite easily. So yeah, I really appreciate him sort of using his head a bit there, and realizing that the fight wasn't with me. I think that reduced the damage a bit, and then pushed Jamie quite hard, because I think, did he get a slowdown or something, and I think that enabled me to catch back up to him again.
Okay.
Because I think he, it was close. It's such a close battle. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. You and Nuttall definitely put on sort of some of the closest battling throughout that entire race. Just having a quick look as well, I just realised, obviously, Kiki Mack was racing this evening, and he is your teammate with the Celtic Bromance team, isn't he? And I just realised in the sprint race, you guys have had a 1-2, so fantastic finish for the team as well this week. So not only personally, you've done fantastically, again, extending your championship lead, but in terms of team championship points, a nice little point haul for you guys as well.
Yeah, it was great to see that front row lookout. I think the 5 minutes and single lap qualifying timing caught people out, because I finished qualifying and I think I had about 5 seconds left. So I wondered how many people just ran out of time.
A lot. I can say to that. I think we had 4 guys who actually put in a lap time.
I wasn't sure if that was track limits. You can never tell as well, because it's quite.
Well, I think it's but no, I think it was just Evan having a little bit of a brain fart there, because I think you should have had a little bit more time. We saw Jamie getting out of the pit lane, and he was like, "Well, I can't even get around there." So great there.
Connected in practice as well, so he really ran out of time.
Yeah. Well, great. Thank you. And there I am. Yes, my mic just cut out. Yeah. See,
should I talk or?
Yeah, no. I'm here. We have technical difficulties, and that's just how it goes. But no, well, we will look forward to see you next time as well on a big track. Next time we're going out to Spa, so we're looking forward to see your performance there, and you battling Jamie again and defending your point gap.
Yeah, nice one. I'll see you guys in Belgium.
Yeah, see ya.
All right, cheers, guys. Bye.
Right, so let's drag in our second place driver from race 2 of Kiki Mack. Good evening, Kiki Mack. Welcome to the commentary booth.
Hello, how are you guys doing?
I mean,
great.
Yeah, fantastically this evening.
How about you? Well, that's what a race, and the first race, we can talk about that later. But how about the second one? How did that go for you?
I'll say it's pretty boring, to be honest, because I started P2, finished P2, and never got near anyone. George just disappeared down the road. Uros was having a good fight with Erti and the guys behind, and I think they had a bit of a tangle. And that just left me in no man's land in P2, which you definitely take the points, especially for the team championship, which is what I think my main aim at the moment is to help George, myself, win that championship. So, yeah, we'll take that.
Absolutely fantastic. I say, yeah, it was, as I described it earlier on, a pointsy weekend for the Celtic Bromance team. And so very much a case of, it may not have been spectacular racing or all the way throughout the grid, but points are points, aren't they? And points win prizes. That's the main thing. To be fair, I say, although you say, obviously it may have been a bit of a sort of a no man's land kind of race, but the pace you were setting was certainly more than enough to keep you in that second place position. Obviously, looking forward, it's another quite a long track next week. Obviously, we head to Belgium to Spa, but then after that, obviously, things do change around a little bit. So we've got, after Spa, what we've got Alton Park, which is a complete polar opposite, much shorter track, less chance of being in the as you said, no man's land. Is Alton Park a track you're looking forward to as well?
Yeah, definitely. Think I'm looking forward to that more than I'm looking forward to Spa, to be honest. It's my local track in the UK. Like, it's an hour away down the road. Watched a few British GT races there, so fantastic track. Walked around it a few times, so know where it goes at least. But yeah, I really do like Alton Park as a track. It's great fun. I much prefer the shorter, windier, twistier tracks compared to tracks like Spa. I tend to lose out on the faster paced corners. Need to grow a pair between my legs, I think, to go as fast as the other guys at those tracks.
Maybe you have to put in some practice with your teammate George. The two of you can sort of try and lap together and try and build the confidence. Sort of, obviously seeing what the car can do. But I mean, second place again, still this evening. Obviously, the qualifying played into that a little bit as well. It was a slightly obscure, short qualifying. I think it caught a fair few drivers out. I think it was only you and 3 others that did qualify. But were you happy with your qualifying pace nonetheless?
In the second race, I was obviously starting from P2 is good. I didn't actually get any practice in for this evening. I jumped in with about 5 minutes left of the practice before qualifying in race 1, so kind of had to learn on the fly as I went tonight. Last time I raced this track would have been in season 2 this year, but yeah, overall it was okay. The race 1 qualifying was pretty terrible though. I invalidated the first 2 laps, and then the second one I outbraked myself into the hairpin at the end of the back straight and lost 2-3 seconds there. So yeah, race 1 was definitely a learning the track, getting comfortable with the car on the track, and then race 2 I was able to stretch my legs a bit and put some lap times down.
Fantastic. I say, obviously, it's just ever improving is the main thing. And say, because actually, in terms of racing, you've actually not been here for many of the races, if I am correct. Let's have a quick scroll down through. This is I always forget because you don't have Kiki Mac as your name, is it? It
It should be
is.
on the leaderboards now. I did change it back. Someone Ninja changed it, so I changed it back. But I wasn't here for Red
Okay.
Bull last week.
No.
I DNF'd a couple of the races at the start of the season, so trying to work my way back up the championship standings. But tonight's definitely going to help with. I believe it was P5 in the first race and P2 in the second one. So hopefully we'll see that jump up the leaderboard now.
Happy days. So yeah, climbing ever forwards. Domino, any words?
No, well, just congratulations with the great results, and we look forward to see what you guys can do next time out.
Yeah, thank you very much. It might be the last time I'm on the podium this season because the other guys are pretty quick. It's only through a bit of luck with qualifying and incidents that I think I'm here today. But yeah, I look forward to watching the stream back and seeing you guys next week.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Goodbye.
I think we've got one last interview as well, and it's from the main man, Erty. So I will bring him in as well. Good evening. Can you hear us?
Good evening.
Good evening, Evan. How did it go out there?
Well, first race qualifying was a disaster. Didn't put a single valid lap in, and then so starting second to last, and then it was all about taking it easy in the first couple of laps, try to avoid any crashes, and made a few overtakes, and there was a couple of people that crashed in front of me, and ended up fourth in the first race, so that was pretty good considering that messed up qualifying, and then sprint race was a bit mental at the first 2 laps because I had a decent start and then I was getting hounded by everyone, and I decided, right, I'm going to sit back, and I'm guessing these boys have got a crash because they were being quite aggressive. And they did crash, and then there was another crash, the 2 in front of me after that, and so I mean, it's all about just staying on the track. Some of these races, and you find the results.
What was it a strategic call from you as the coordinator to decide for us only to have a 5-minute qualifying for round 2?
No, everyone just has to get out the pits immediately, and they've got. But I nearly messed that up myself because I
just get on with it.
Only got across the line with half a second left and qualifying, and I put my lap in to be one of only 4 people, I think, to put a lap in. So I'm quite enjoying the one-shot qualifying. It's bringing up some funny starting grids for the sprints.
Oh yeah, definitely. We saw the one of our title contender just not having the greatest of sprints, and he had as well last time out, Jamie Nuttall. So I think he might be having a conversation with you, but
Right.
you're not to be to change your mind.
No, well, we'll see. I might make it 5.5 minutes next time.
Yeah, because next time we are going to a big track again. How are these big tracks actually suiting these cars, if at all?
Well, it's quite. It takes a while to get around them in an F1 or an F4 car. Not sure how long a lap next. Is it Spa next week?
It is Spa next
Yeah.
week.
So that might be 2.5 minutes, that lap. 8 kilometers. Might be longer. But,
Hmm.
no, it'll be quite interesting. But with the fixed setup, you might find people hitting the rev limiter quite early on as we're going down the Kemmel Straight. I'm not sure.
That's going
Well,
to be the thing with those long straights. Obviously, you might think to yourself, "Oh, great, I've got the advantage of being in the slipstream," but then you're going to run out of revs. So you might get to the point where you're like, everyone just comes to a complete level. It's going to come down to who's bravest on the brakes, possibly at the end of the Kemmel. But
yeah, it's the slipstream train as well. Staying in that train will be important, because if you fall out of it, then you're going to fall back, as we've seen in many cars on this service. If you're not in the train, that's it.
Definitely, as we also saw today, people when they went off, we saw the 2 leading guys just getting away with it. But yeah, Evan, great to hear from you, and we are excited to see you again next time out. You tend to just get the points. We see you at the beginning of qualifying and think you will never get points, and then suddenly you are standing here after with a P4 and a P3.
Yeah, I think I might be second in the standings now, but Kieran is George is building quite a lead, so it might be difficult unless Jamie Nuttall can get his finger out. I think George, it's championship to lose.
Great stuff. See you next time around.
All right, see you later.
good night.
Good night.
And yeah, that was from our coordinator Evan, and we need subtitles next time he's on, as we normally do when he's speaking. But as you guys can see at the top again, if you have enjoyed the content here, like, subscribe, all that stuff that you should do. But also look at Apex Online Racing. You might want to join here, but we also have other stuff. I know, Tim, you're commentating on some weird shaped cars sometimes. These GT cars.
Yeah, normally do Mondays and Tuesdays here for Apex Online Racing with the GT3 Championships. That's Tier 1 on Monday and then Tier 2 Tuesday. Actually, that season has just wrapped up. You can watch back all the season if you want to on the Apex Online channel. But yeah, that is the end of the season, and we usually have a little bit of a summer break, just because, it's the summertime and some people just need a bit of a break from time to time. It's always a bit of a break between championships. So yeah, that's what I do. Have you got anything else going on at the moment, Domino?
I don't have for me it's iRacing, but I know that there's some guys who's also doing the Formula 1 stuff. So if you guys enjoy any of that content, have a look. This is a great community. We do put on some great races, as you guys have seen here, and so please join us on any platform that you like. We also have console games around there. So, but all that's left to say is thank you for the race, and see you next time at the legendary Spa-Francorchamps.
Good night.